Story 1. When I, 36 male, was in college, I dated Margaret. She transferred to a different university in our sophomore year, causing our breakup. It was amicable, but given our different paths, we lost touch. I've been married to my wife, Kathy, for 10 years. We have 3 children, a tween boy, a pre-tween girl, and a toddler girl. Last year, I got a friend request on Facebook from Margaret. Shortly after accepting, she messaged me and asked if we could talk on the phone. I found it weird, but something told me to do it. So I called her, and she told me she had a teen daughter, Paige. I was in shock and almost didn't believe her at first. She begged me to at least take a DNA test. After speaking with Kathy, I agreed. It turns out it's true. I have a teen daughter who's lived just an hour from me her entire life. Margaret says she didn't tell me as she thought she could be a mother alone. But now Paige was older and wanted to know me. I agreed to start a relationship with her. At first, things went pretty well. We did a lot of stuff one-on-one as well as some things with my wife and other children. Initially, Paige wanted to spend a lot of time just with us, which made sense as we had much catching up to do. I see Paige at least once a week. She usually comes down to stay with us every other weekend, and I'll go up to see her on the weekends in between, just me, not the rest of the family. While I love my time with Paige, I also must balance time with my other kids, something she doesn't seem to understand. I'll invite Paige to join family things and she'll turn it down, or she'll find out I'm doing something with one of the other kids and want to come along or ask me to cancel the plans to spend time with her. The biggest instinct came this past weekend. My son had a basketball game. Paige asked if I could come hang out with her. I explained why I couldn't but said she was more than welcome. She got irritated and said no. I offered to come up the following day. She asked why I couldn't just blow off the basketball game. I told her that it was important to her brother. She said I had more time with them, and they could do without me for a few years. I told her that was not going to happen. I said I loved her. I want to spend time with her, but I also have other kids to consider. She's always welcome to join our activities that aren't special one-on-one days, and I'll always make sure I spend one-on-one time. She said she never asked for little siblings, and while I sympathized, I said they exist and I have to balance everyone. I said if she doesn't want to hang out with the other kids and my wife, that's fine, but expecting me to blow them off isn't reasonable. Now she's very upset with me. I have offered therapy. She refuses. I've asked if there's anything my wife or other kids did. She says no, she just doesn't want to share me. She still claims that I should put her above her siblings. I can't do that. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She never asked for siblings, but you never asked to have a daughter hidden from you for so many years, though that's not her fault but her mother's. You've shown a lot of care and compassion, but you are correct that you have to balance everyone. You were correct to tell her that you aren't going to dump your family for her, and I agree with you that she could use some therapy. I agree Op is not the idiot here, but I don't think the daughter is either. She's a victim too. There is one idiot and villain in this story, Margaret. I actually don't understand how, as a society, we even normalize hiding a child from a father to the point where it's even considered an option for a woman in any case, other than those that involve fleeing domestic dangers. At the very least, Margaret should be a social pariah for what she's done, and a part of me even thinks this should be a felony crime. Given the few details here, I think it's unfair to make such assumptions about Margaret. Op, I think it's time you communicate more with Margaret on effectively managing a newly blended family and establishing boundaries. Well, Margaret told him she didn't tell him because she thought she could do it without him, which means she chose to hide it from him. And apparently she didn't tell her daughter that, did she? More importantly, why was Margaret so happy to let Op back in after 16 years? I have to wonder if Margaret told Opie now because college is coming up in a few years, and she wants him to pay for it. I don't think Margaret is telling the whole story. Until Margaret fesses up, no one will know. Either way, the daughter needs help and is told the truth by her mother. I, 53 male, love to cook. There will be days when I slave away in the kitchen all day to make a big meal, and I'll do it happily. My wife, 50, can cook when I'm not around. But honestly, I can't think of any time when she's made anything because I always want to do it. And that's fine by me as long as I feel appreciated for it. I have a 24-year-old son, Eric. My wife has a daughter, 19, Liz, from previous marriages. And we have a teen son, David. Eric lives with us for now to save money, while he works but still pays rent. He will eat anything with the exception of hating blue cheese. David likes pretty much everything but is allergic to eggs. I can work around these constraints pretty easily when I cook. Liz is a different story. She's always been picky with the foods she dislikes, but it has gotten way worse. She went to college for a semester and then dropped out, so now she's living at home. And while she was away, she developed some terrible pickiness. She has stints of being a vegan, vegetarian, grain-free, pasta-free, oil-free, etc. but isn't consistent about it. I try to help her meet her needs, but on any given day she has something new to complain about with the food I want to cook. Sometimes she and I would debate for hours about what to make, with me basically saying, "Tell me what you want for dinner that will work for you, and I will cook it, so long as it meets the other kids' restrictions," and she's so unhelpful with this. 2 nights ago, I cooked a dish Liz told me looked good in a book. We all sat down for dinner, and everybody loved it except Liz. She complained that she didn't realize there were peanuts in the recipe, which are so unhealthy for us, so she doesn't think she can eat it. Could I make her something else? I was fed up and told her, "No, you can eat this, or you will eat nothing. I'm done having to deal with your pickiness and criticism of my cooking. I will no longer be taking any of your feedback on what you want for dinner, and cooking what everybody else wants. You can either eat that or cook yourself something else." She started crying and said that I take the other kids' restrictions on what to eat, so why can't I do the same for her? I reminded her that Eric only dislikes a single thing that I don't care for either, so there's no risk of it popping into a dish. And if David has eggs, he'll probably die, so it's not the same as her vetoing every single thing I want to make. My wife took her side and said that I was being too sensitive and mean because Liz is not my real daughter, and I'm showing favoritism. This is bullshit, by the way. I told my wife that she can cook Liz meals if she wants to, but I'm not going out of my way to meet her needs. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot, because dietary restrictions are not the same as preferences. Eric couldn't eat certain foods, and Liz wouldn't. You cooked something of her choice, and her response was, "I changed my mind, I don't like it, cook me something else." Not even a thank you. Liz is an idiot for being entitled. Your wife is an idiot for enabling this behavior and throwing the favoritism card. 1000% this. I got halfway through reading this story and I was like, what a brat. She can cook her own damn meals if she's going to act like this. And Mom took her side. Nope. What really gets me is that they have a teen child together. Opie and their wife have clearly been together since Liz was a toddler, and it follows the logic that Opie has been in a fatherly role to Liz for most of her life. Mom doesn't get to pull this bullshit. Liz is a spoiled child. The rest of the family should not have to eat around her ever-changing whims. When I was 9, my dad got remarried to a woman with 2 kids. The main one that I'm going to be talking about is Maya, who at the time was 12. I get along really well with my stepmother, and we did stuff together all the time. I also got along with my stepbrother well too. Maya and I did not get along at all though. I will fully admit that I bullied her about her appearance and body. A few years later, there was an incident where she physically attacked me because of it. Our dad and stepmom took us all to family therapy where everything was hashed out. The main issue that I realized was that I was really just copying the things that my stepmother would say to Maya as constructive criticism. With everything out in the open, we both apologized to her, and she said she accepted our apologies, but later said she didn't forgive me. She fully forgave her mother, but she didn't have to forgive me because I wasn't family. That set the basis of our relationship. I still get along great with my dad, stepmom, stepbrother, and my other siblings. Maya and I were primarily civil with each other, and the rest of the time we lived together. But otherwise we had no real relationship. I say primarily civil because she would always find a chance to insert a small comment about me bullying her in the past. She would, however, never make such a comment about her mom, so I don't have any contact with her now. I've seen her in person maybe a handful of times in the last 10 years. I try to stay on the furthest side of the room for her in those times. Now on to the current issue. My husband and I don't have kids, but we've always loved spending time and spoiling our nieces and nephews. We've both been finding more recent success with our careers, so we've been doing more expensive activities with them and getting them better gifts. We've never included Maya's kids because we don't have a relationship with them at all. The kids have talked amongst themselves though, and hers now want us to include them. Maya is trying to frame it as me bullying her again by excluding her kids when she's the one who decided I'm not family, so I'm not sure why she expects me to see her or her kids as family. Am I the idiot for not including my stepsister's kids because she told me I'm not her real family? You are not the idiot, but I'm not sure what Maya wants here because if I want you in my kids' lives, I also wouldn't have the expectation that you'd need to get my kids anything. Is she seeing the gifts as compensation for her pain or something? She doesn't consider you family and doesn't want to forgive you, which is her right. However, I'd frame this as, what is it that you want here? At the moment I think she looks bad for acting like you're not family, but your money is when it comes to her kids. She can't have it both ways. Seriously, I mean, stepsis continuing to throw barbs at her younger sister, refusing Opai's apology, and denying her as family sounds like bullying in itself. The fact that stepsis still held Opai accountable for a child's mistakes well into adulthood makes Opai's lack of relationship with stepsis kids completely understandable. Stepsis looking for handouts now looks gross. Yep, deep down Maya knows Op wasn't the real bully. The Op was parroting Maya's mother. She couldn't cut out her mother or place blame there, so she pointed the continued anger at Op. Maya knows Op isn't that way now and is jealous her children aren't being treated the same, and is bringing up old hurts. Unfortunately, she still can't accept Op wasn't 100% the bad guy when they were kids and needs to continue to be the wronged party in their story. Anywho, Op, call her bluff and say you'll allow for a more emotional connection before you take her kids anywhere, and ask when she'll host you and your husband for dinner. Be very clear that unless, and until, you see her doing the heavy lifting of repairing the relationship between you, you will stick with the established status quo that she is not close family. I, 40 male, almost cheated on my wife, 41, due to a dead bedroom. I went on a business trip out of state and met a woman at a bar. We started chatting and felt the spark. We exchanged numbers and flirty texts, and she invited me over to her house. I was planning to go, but I didn't. I just went outside, got hammered, and slept it off. A week ago my wife went through my phone and discovered those texts. I confessed and told her what happened. She didn't believe that I didn't cheat. She called me a cheater, which yes, technically I am more of a semi-cheater. Last week was her ignoring me. The day before yesterday she asked for a divorce, and I agreed without any resistance. Our marriage should have ended the moment our intimate life went to crap. I wasted years on the marriage, which was destined to doom anyway. She was the only woman I didn't think of leaving. She was special to me. That's why I married her, and the thought of leaving her never crossed my mind. It made me give a dead-end relationship more time than it deserved. So, I told her that I also think it's time we end this sham that we call the marriage. I'm also somewhat glad all this happened. Otherwise, I would have sleepwalked through my life in a marriage that made me miserable. I also feel lucky that I didn't sleep with the woman on my work trip. Even when I look back, I can't believe I made the right decision not to go through with it. I don't even know why I stopped. It was pure luck. My wife took my acceptance of her proposal of divorce as a sign that I cheated. She accused me of wanting to run back to my witch and abandon our children. She didn't believe me before, so I was in no mood to correct her. I will not be abandoning our kids. I did decide to apologize to that woman. I apologized for ghosting her and gave the excuse that I was intoxicated and fell asleep, which is true. She replied with, "No worries," and a gif of a dog drinking champagne, which was very nice of her to do. I don't think I'll ever meet her again, so I don't think she needs to know more. I think maybe I'll tell her about it after the divorce. My wife demanded to see my phone, and I gave it to her. She saw the text of me apologizing and her reply and got mad at me. She said I was scheming with that woman to gaslight her into thinking that I didn't cheat. She's accused me of gaslighting her for stupid things before, but this time it would have made sense if it was true. I said to her that she doesn't have to believe me to divorce me, quite the opposite, which made her madder. I don't even know how to get through to my wife. I would have left the house if I didn't have kids, but I can't do that for now. Am I wrong for agreeing to a divorce? What exactly are you asking? If you're an idiot for getting a divorce, no, it's your life, you're in charge. Are you an idiot for thinking your wife should be happy about getting a divorce? Yes, she's an adult, and she can have her own feelings. You told her you almost cheated, and she had a reaction. What did you expect to happen? Stop texting some random woman. She doesn't need to be included in your drama. Stop handing your wife your phone. That's ridiculously unkind and selfish behavior. She also doesn't need to be included in your nonsense. You are the idiot. If you're so willing to walk away from a bad relationship, then do it. Stop playing games. Relax, dude. I think Buddy just needed to vent. This all started a week ago. It's not as though he's dragging his feet. Also, his wife keeps asking to see his phone, and he's complying. How does this make him crappy? Sometimes people grow out of love. I'm not going to blame the guy for no longer fighting for something he doesn't believe in anymore. You're not the idiot. Your marriage is over. The incident was just the final straw in a long, drawn-out, dead marriage. You need to divorce her, and both of you need to move on. Call a lawyer and follow their advice on how to proceed. The most important thing now is your kids. Think of them. Make sure they know you love them, and this has nothing to do with them. My girlfriend, 25, and I, 27 male, were together for about 9 months. I thought things were going great until about a month ago, when, out of the blue, she told me we needed to break up. I was super confused and asked why she said that. She told me that I wasn't attentive enough and that she deserved better. I was confused, angry, and hurt all at the same time. I thought I was paying her the right amount of attention, but obviously she didn't think so. I would have fought for our relationship and paid more attention, but when she said she could do better, that riled me up. I cut all contact with her. I'm talking about unfollowing and blocking her on all accounts, deleting her contact information from all my devices, and deleting our texts. It was to the point that even if I wanted to contact her, I couldn't unless I drove to her place. I spent the month in pain, and I'll admit I cried a few times. Her words that she could do better haunted me. Last night there was a knock on my door, and when I opened it, there she was. She tried asking me how I was doing, but I cut her off and asked her what she wanted. She said I failed her test and was expecting me to pay more attention to her, not go no contact. She also said I need to do better since she's taking me back. I closed the door in her face, and she spent the next 10 minutes begging me to talk. She and her friends texted me the entire night, saying that it's normal for women to test their men, and that I'm overreacting. They said that they usually start with small tests, but my ex jumped the gun and went for the big test because she saw us together for a long time and wanted to ensure I was the one. I never answered any of them and blocked every number that texted me. Am I overreacting? She's only the second serious girlfriend I've had. Congratulations, you passed the test. You dodged the bullet. You are not the idiot. It's not normal to test your boyfriend. Sane women won't do that. What she did was incredibly immature, manipulative, toxic, and if we can be honest, stupid. Cut off contact. If she does get her claws into you, tell her your primary relationship is with yourself, and you can't disrespect yourself by allowing her back into your life. Oh, she wanted another guy, but it didn't work out, now she's back. It's as simple as that. Because if this was a test, she waited a whole month to come tell you. No sir, she tried to get another dude, but that didn't pan out. Do not believe the manipulation. Block her and her friends and get the revenge of living your life well. Thank you for watching.